Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Talk about a wild topic. If you guys think that Goonergate is divisive, you should see the comments on my Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 videos. I'm so serious, bro. It's absolutely insane. So I put out a bunch of videos, obviously, on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I've had my opinions on it. Obviously, one of the things was I was highly upset over the fact that the developers were vague, extremely vague, to the point where I was questioning why they were being vague in the first place. What are you doing? Why are you being vague? That's stupid. You should just hit the point on the head. And then they were like, well, we don't want to spoil the story. You don't have to spoil the story to tell people whether or not Henry could potentially be gay or not. You know what I mean? Like, just get to the fucking point. The more vague you are, the worse it gets, and the worse it makes people think about your game and what you're hiding and whatnot, all that stuff. So I had a big issues with them being vague. Now, besides the point, now apparently they have come out and they said their piece, which is by they, I mean Daniel Vavra. And we're going to go over it. So this is the thread here. Whoops. With Daniel Vavra. So let's check it out. Daniel Vavra obviously is one of the leads over at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So he says the following. It is time to address wild claims that some people spread that are apparently based on just one screenshot and a poorly translated tweet. Spoiler alert, contains spoilers about the story of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So if you guys care about the spoilers, then you probably are going to want to mute the stream right now. I'm not going to tell you to leave because obviously, Griff, I want you to stay. But no, I'm seriously, if you care about the spoilers, I would probably mute the stream right now and just wait it out for a few minutes because we're going to talk about it. Here we go. So number one, there are no unskippable cutscenes in our games. Anybody who claims otherwise never played them. That was the biggest red flag for me, the whole like unskippable gay cutscene thing. I find that to be highly sus, in my opinion. I honestly thought that was pretty stupid when I saw that initial reaction, because again, that was one of the things that I called out as making it seem like it was not real, and it made it seem like it was fake to me, even though everything else was kind of in line for the most part. It just seemed a little bit fake when somebody said unskippable cutscene in a modern day RPG, let alone an RPG that's a sequel to a game that had skippable cutscenes. So it didn't quite make any sense to me, but he officially has confirmed that there are no unskippable cutscenes for this game. So that's number one. Number two, we are not, nor were we ever banned in any country, at least not that we know of. So the whole thing about them being banned in Saudi Arabia was officially not true, according to them. And they're not banned anywhere as of right now. So that entire rumor about them being banned in Saudi Arabia really makes me feel like this is a psyop from the leftist media outlets that are really not wanting this game to succeed, right? I really do believe that at this point, because for all this information to reach golden checkmark accounts on Twitter, accounts that are supposed to be super verified for source and everything, they all essentially lied about the game being banned in Saudi Arabia and also the reason for it being banned. But that's, anyway, besides the point. So as of right now, the game's not banned. Number three, as much as I don't like forced diversity, no one was forcing us to do anything, and we are not forcing anyone to do certain things. Okay, this is where it gets wonky for a lot of people. You're going to have a lot of disagreements here and there in the chat, and I want it all. I want agreements, disagreements. I want it all. Let's talk about it. Number four, gay characters were already in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. Anybody who's played the game already knows that. I don't think most people are arguing over the fact of gay characters. I think people are more so focused on the fact that you're making Henry able to have a gay relationship. I think that's the problem for a lot of people. Anyway, number five, KCD is an RPG. You're responsible for your decisions. If you want Henry to try a same-sex adventure, feel free. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All affairs are, and as were in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, purely optional. The characters are perfectly aware that it was a forbidden sin. So what they're saying now, they've basically confirmed, for all you guys out there who are curious, they have confirmed that there is a same-sex, aka gay option for Henry in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 if you choose to seek it out. We're also going to go over what Grum said, because apparently seeking out that gay relationship is actually very difficult in the game. It's not a 1, 2, 3 thing, apparently. but it's in the game. But it is optional. It is an optional thing in this game, just like many RPGs. And this is why, for me, and I've had this conversation with many people over on Twitter, I've had this conversation with people in my YouTube comments, to the best of my ability. When it comes to RPGs, I don't grade them the same. I never grade them the same as your on the rails, canonical, single story kind of game, similar to some people like on Twitter were saying with what was it, The Last of Us, and what was the other game they mentioned? Fuck, I forgot the other game they mentioned. It was The Last of Us and something else that they were trying to compare to. And I was like, for me, it's one of those things where you have a canonical story, sure, but with RPG, I understand there being options. However, I also understand, and I want to make it clear, I understand how people are upset because the character is canonically straight. It has been that way since the first game, and now all of a sudden the guy woke up and discovers that he likes dick. I get that sentiment. I totally get that sentiment, and I understand where those people are coming from. And if that turns you off, I understand that. I fully understand that. For me, as long as it's optional and I can play my RPG as the straight character that is canonically straight for me, then that's what I care about. But I also understand people out there being angry over that, and you have every right to be upset over it. Anyway, so then number 6, the game takes place in one of the richest cities in Europe, which was besieged by a massive foreign army. That's the reason why the life is such a city is more diverse than the life in villages, which were featured in the first game. So now the game is going from a village setting, to more of a city-oriented setting, which features more slice of life kind of people, all kinds of people. Anyway, the level of diversity that's going to be in the game, I have no idea. To me, it seems like that a lot of the diversity that's in the game that are non-white are basically traveling merchants. That's how it seems. But let's continue. And again, I want to make it very clear too. There is no developer out there. I want to make it clear. There is no developer out there that is above, any kind of criticism. Any kind of criticism, right? So like for me, this whole thing about him talking about, oh, well, it takes place in a city and that's why it's going to showcase more diversity, in my opinion, sounds a little bullshit. It just does, right? It sounds a little bullshit to me. But again, I also understand the story that he's trying to sell here, and I get it. But overall, there is no developer that is above any criticism. I don't care how based people think they are. I don't care how base people might have them, like the perception. Even Saber Interactive. If Saber Interactive were to try to do some shit like this, they would still get criticism, regardless of the fact that they gave us some amazing Space Marine games. So nobody's above any kind of criticism. So then here we go. So this is, I think he's referencing the black character in the game here. This is 7 out of 10. Musa came to Bohemia with an invading army as a member of the royal court of King Sigismund, who he met thanks to his engagement at the court of Sultan Bayazid. He's an educated noble and a Renaissance man from the kingdom of Mali. Okay. Number 8, at the same time, Musa is a very unusual figure for the local Bohemian folk, and many of the situations around him in the game stem from this. So his presence makes sense and creates a lot of interesting situations in the game. The way he talks and behaves has a reason. So I'm pretty sure Musa is the black character that everybody's like screenshotting and spreading around and showing on social media. He's basically trying to say that he's part of an invading army or like a member of an invading army, and that he's not actually part of Bohemia. He's not from Bohemia. So if that's the case, kind of makes sense, sort of. I'll let it pass for the most part. It's not like you're going to run around Bohemia and see a bunch of black people who are native to the land there. That's something different, obviously, which I think he mentions. I think he mentions that. Hold on. Let me go down. Everything displayed corresponds to the morals and social norms of 1403 Bohemia and is only there to make an interesting story and not at all to appeal to a modern audience. Then he says, we don't want Kingdom Come Deliverance to be used as clickbait by people who didn't even play it yet. Some of them sadly turned into exactly the same narrative they pretend to be fighting against. The amount of hateful behavior is really sad, and it will damage any cause associated with it. So, okay. At this point, I'm taking this response, honestly, a little bit sus. And I got to keep it real with you guys. I'll never lie to you guys. I genuinely am taking this as a little bit sus from certain angles, right? From certain angles. The Henry thing, I understand that to be sus. And for the whole like, oh, well, there's diversity because it's a city, that's a little bit sus, but I am still giving the game a chance. I'm giving the game a chance, and here's why. Number one, first off, I'm a fucking reviewer, so that's my job. Okay, I review games on Hypnotic Live, and people have already asked me to play this game, so that's just what it's going to be. Number two, the whole thing about Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, I thoroughly enjoyed Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. The developer has earned goodwill for me based off the first game, very similar to how Saber Interactive has earned goodwill for me based off their games with Space Marine. If Saber Interactive pulled some weird shit like this, then honestly, I would still give them a chance and see, unless it was blatantly ridiculous. Like, I'm talking insanely ridiculous. But overall, Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 has earned enough goodwill for me to say, okay, I'm going to check it out and at least give subscribers the transparency that the gaming industry doesn't want to give. Because this is the problem. When you're not transparent with people, I'll put it to you like this. It screams to me, and I can't shake this, but it screams to me that there was an attempted bait and switch here. Even if it's at its smallest form, even if most players wouldn't have seen it, it feels to me that there was a bait and switch attempt here at some point in time, because you must have known that making Henry have a gay option, right? Making Henry have a gay option was going to piss off a lot of people. You must have known that, right? I feel like as a developer for Kingdom Come, who focuses on historical accuracy, you must have known that. And to sit here and pretend as if people are I guess overblowing it when it comes to Henry being potentially gay, I really do feel like that's really dumb. I really do. You must have known, right? They didn't. I feel like they knew that if they would have mentioned the potential option for same-sex relationships, that was going to hurt their sales. So they wanted to keep it hidden for as long as possible. That's what it seems like to me. And at that point, I can't support that from the developers. They got to not do that, right? They really do. They got to not do that. But ultimately, I think this is one of those games. This is one of those games where they do not have, like, there is no win scenario here. Right? You're not going to make everybody happy with this kind of situation. You're going to have people be mad about all kinds of things. You're going to have people be mad because the character is gay or could be gay, even though they themselves would not partake in it. They're just mad at the option just being there because the character was never having that option to be gay in the previous game, which I understand. Totally understand. And then number two, you're going to have people talk about historical accuracy because they should be, right? This is a game that touts itself as extremely historically accurate. And saying that it's an RPG and that's why they're going with certain decisions doesn't really pan out. If your entire narrative is the game is historically accurate and that's, it just doesn't pan out. Because if you were going to do this, why didn't you do this in the first game? Right? Why didn't you do this in the first game? Why didn't you allow Henry to be to have an opportunity to be gay in the first game? At this point, nobody would have any leg to stand on. Right? Nobody would be able to say anything about Henry if he was able to be gay in the first game. But now that he's suddenly able to be gay in the second game, nobody just wakes up. How old is Henry? Henry's like what, like 30-something years old? Or like high 20s? I forgot. Anybody know how old Henry is? Let me try to look it up. How old is Henry in Kingdom Come Deliverance? How old is Henry? I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. Anybody know how old he is? Isn't he in his 20s by now? I feel like he's in his 20s by now, if I'm not mistaken. I know he starts off young. He's like 15, 16 at the start. So he's like 20 something now. Anyway, that's besides the point. So at this, like, nobody wakes up and says, "Oh, I'm just magically going to suck a dick now." That does not fucking happen, bro. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make any sense. And I think I saw a comment in the chat. Sorry, the chat's moving very fast. I can't grab it, but I think a comment said that, well, how do you know he can't be gay in the first game? Have you tried every dialogue choice, bro? Come on, man. Come on, bro. This is what we're really doing at this point. This game has been thoroughly played by thousands upon thousands of people for years. If there was a gay option for Henry, don't you think they might have found it by now? Don't you think that would have happened by now? I mean, come on, bro. Like, what are we seriously doing? Somebody would have found it by now. Okay. So ultimately, Henry, I get that. And that's why Mikey says Henry is kind of a gay sounding name. All right, bro. All right, bro. No problem. Ultimately, people are angry over that fact, and I get that. And it's a bullshit. It really is a bullshit thing. It is. Henry, if you were going to make any character gay, you might as well just have made a new character. But I understand Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is something of it's a continuance of Henry's story. I totally understand that. So if that was the case, for you to make such a drastic change possible, but then try to hide behind the fact that it's an RPG, it's a little bit bullshit. It's a little bit bullshit. I got to be real with you. It is. It totally is. You should have just either made a new character, or you could have introduced a prominent NPC in the game that's a friend of Henry's who happens to be gay. Like, if you wanted representation for gay people, you could have just made a new NPC that was, that would go alongside the story of Henry, and that character could have been gay, and he could have been the one to, carry the representation mantle, and nobody would care, right? Maybe Henry could know someone who happens to be gay, and that person is trying to hide that fact because he doesn't want to be fucking, he doesn't want to be, ousted by society or whatever the case may be at the time. I feel like there was a lot of ways they could have handled this a lot better. But ultimately, their decision is that they're going to make Henry have a chance to be gay, which fucking sucks. But it is what it is. Now, aside from all of that, Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was a great game. All right. Lots of choices. Great RPG overall. Didn't really like the graphics too much personally, but I mean, it's an older game, so whatever. But for me, I feel like this, first off, I just want to say I'm glad that he directly fucking answered it now. I wish he would have did this at first instead of spending over a week not saying shit and just being very vague about everything. That really made people pissed, right? For you, if you would have just came out and said, Henry has an option to be gay, but it's not required, you could play him straight just like he always was, I don't think as many people would have been pissed off as the amount of people that are pissed off now because you dragged them for a week and you didn't tell them the fucking truth for a week or almost a week, however long it's been. Like, you just didn't come out and tell them. It's like, why did you make people wait this long? Why were you so vague when you could have just told them straight up, like, this is an option? And I think at this point, they were hoping that the whole drama would die down so that they can go, bait and switch people into buying the game. So, again, I don't think that this is going to be a bad game. I want to be very clear. I don't think this is going to be a bad game at all. But I do understand how some people are going to be upset over this. Now, for me personally, doesn't bother me, never has, right? I've been very clear about that in many videos that I made in the past, in the present, and in the future. When it comes to RPGs, as long as most of the shit is optional, I'm okay with it. Here's the differences. When you get an RPG like Dragon Age: The Veilguard, for example, that everybody went crazy over, for me, Dragon Age: The Veilguard was fucking ridiculous because even though the gay romances were optional, right? Even though all that shit was optional, the trans ideology thing was optional. The problem is there was a majority of the game when I'm talking to these NPCs that the dialogue was not optional. And a lot of it had to do with gender identity, gender ideology, all this other fucking nonsense was not optional at all. I had to hear about it. My character was a fucking therapist for a lot of these people who were dealing with their own fucking identity issues. It's really annoying. So that becomes something where the ideology takes precedence over the story and you can't avoid it. Even if you try to avoid the gay relationships or you try to avoid the fucking trans ideology stuff, you still got people talking about, like, when I talked to who was it? There was an NPC that was a blacksmith. I forgot what city. I forgot what the city was called. I don't remember. There was a female blacksmith. There was a female blacksmith in one of the cities that was talking about being non-binary. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is that? That's so stupid. right? So in any case, people really need to have a bit of distinction, right? There really needs to be a distinction that is made. And I talk about this all the time. You're going to have people that are not going to want to say the truth. And the truth is they just don't want to see gay people in the games, period. There's a lot of people that are like that. They'll claim they're not like that, but that's just the fucking truth. That's just what it is. And then you're going to have other people that are just angry that it was hidden from them, which I respect. Totally respect. And then you have other people that are angry because they feel like, it's pattern recognition, right? You feel like you're seeing the same shit that you're seeing elsewhere with the games that are really bad, right? You're seeing, like, you look at this stuff, you see the bait and switch, you see the hiding, and you think, oh, gee, that's like these other games that are fucking terrible. You know what I mean? I can't support this. I gotta wait. I gotta see. I gotta wait for a review or whatever the case may be. So I get all sides of things. This is why, like, I'm getting hate from everybody, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that. But I'm getting hate from all kinds of people because they're like, oh, you should say this, you should say that, whatever. It's like, bro, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna fucking say. And if you agree with it, great. If not, we could talk about it. But that's basically it. But a lot of people are tired of it. And at this point, again, if this little bit of an optional gay scene had come out, let's say, I don't know, 10 years ago, nobody would probably care, because at that point, pattern recognition would not have set in at this point. But now at this point in time, pattern recognition has become so extreme with especially the LGBTQ stuff that now people are just going to immediately push it off no matter what, especially if it was hidden from them, which it was in this case. It was. There's no doubt about it. This was hidden from them. Henry's gay optional scene, whatever, was hidden from them. I also think, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel as if a lot of the people who were hyped about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 did not play Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. I really do believe that. And I'm not using that as an excuse for these guys. Trust me, like I said, if you're angry over the gay shit, totally understand. But I feel like a lot of the people who were waiting to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 were waiting because they did not, or I should say it was being pushed by certain channels, including my own, obviously, as being a game they were all excited for. So then they got excited for it, and they probably had a misconceived notion of it, right? But a lot of people did not play the first game. I'm seeing some people in the chat right now. Say that they didn't play the first game, which is fine. But there was a preconceived notion about the game. There's also, I want you guys to keep in mind too, there's a preconceived notion about this guy, Daniel Vavra. There's a preconceived notion about him. People try to say he's based, whatever, because they saw a picture of him. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. I showed this in my video today. Where people have this idea here. Here we go. So people have this idea of Daniel Vavra, right? Right? People have this idea of him because they see pictures of him wearing this t-shirt that says #base. This is from ages ago, right? This is from the first Gamergate, all right? Where it says, for example, #base, white privilege, able-bodied, cisgender, basement dwelling, man, baby, virgin, scum. I don't know what word this says. MR8, neckbeard, shitlord. Right? These are all the things that he was called during the initial nonsense when they tried to come after him. And don't get me wrong, that's totally fucking based. But you cannot let these like preconceived notions get you to be, I guess you should say, misconstruing the product, unfortunately. Right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, this guy, like anybody like this, could just immediately put something gay into a fucking game. And unfortunately, even if it is his artistic vision, where he wants to truly give Henry an option to have gay romance for an artistic reason and not for ESG DEI, it doesn't matter. People are immediately going to call DEI the moment they see it, because that's what's happening right now. That is literally the pattern recognition right now. And you can't blame people for being that way. You can't. You just can't. So it is what it is. But I don't think he did it for artistic vision. I got to be honest with you. Because if you did it for artistic vision, why didn't you do it in the first game? That's just my opinion. Why didn't you do it in the first game? If you were really going to do this and you were really going to give him the option to have a gay relationship, you should have did it in the first game, and that way you would have been consistent. But anyway, so this is what he said about the original Gamergate. And this is why people like to tie him, to being somebody you could trust or whatever. He says that, and they will never be happy. If women in your game look good, you are sexist. If they look bad, you are sexist. If you can fight with them, you're misogynistic. If you can't fight with them, you are using them as objects. If you don't have any women because there is no correct way to have them, you're misogynistic. It's a witch hunt, and it's affecting my artistic freedom. Daniel Vavra. Based, right? 100% based response. I can't take that away from him because that's exactly what Gamergate 1 was. But that was also many, many, many years ago. Right? That was many years ago. Things could change. Different investors could show up, right? Different people involved in the game could show up. So I think what's happening here is we are seeing one of those very few games that are in the somewhat gray area, right? JT Vega says he sold his company. Exactly. There you go. It seems to me that this is one of those games that are very much in that gray area where nobody's going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy. You're going to have people not happy in all different avenues. So I'm going to have the mindset that I've had for pretty much most. Somebody said gay area. Mike, said gay area. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Bill Painter disingenuously says, guess Hypnotic doesn't care about woke crap being enforced into video games. Explain to me how gay people exist and is just woke. Again, stop it, bro. Stop the fucking conversation. If you think I have an issue with a gay person, a well-written gay character being in the game, if you think I have an issue with that, you're watching the wrong person. And I'm okay with telling you that. All right? I've said this for so many videos for years, bro. Years. So if you genuinely believe that, then you're watching the wrong person. There are much more extreme people out there that you can watch is perfectly fine that are not going to be honest with you. They're not going to be honest with you. It is what it is. It's perfectly fine. But for me, like I said, I called it bullshit. What more do you want me to say? Bill Painter, what more do you want me to say, my guy? What more do you want me to say? I called it bullshit, the fact that they made Henry gay in this game. Well, they didn't make him gay. They gave you the option for him to be gay. I called it bullshit. So what more do you want me to say? Because no matter what, I'm going to play the game to review the game. That's my job. Is that your job? It's not. Were you mad when I played Dragon Age of Veilguard and reviewed it for people? Because that game was gay as fuck. It's like, bro, like, what are we doing? I'm always going to be honest with you, even if it's something that you might not want to hear. That's how it's always going to be here. So again, I'm totally fine. If that upsets you, I just hope you will at least listen and say, you know what? Hey, we disagree. It is what it is. Because that's the kind of game this is. This is going to be a game where we're going to be disagreeing probably all throughout. Just be honest with you. And as I've said many times before, when it comes to RPGs, I'm a little bit more lenient on certain things because RPGs have always had that sense of freedom to them. And for me to complain about options in an RPG, that's a little bit stupid, right? But if those don't become options and suddenly they're in your face telling you that you need to do 10 push-ups because you misgendered the NPC, that's a problem. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Iron Reaver says, wait, let me scroll up. I'm almost positive. Damn, this chat's moving fast. I'm almost positive they were gays in the first game. No, they were. There were, though. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's complaining, or at least I don't think anyway. There might be some that are, but nobody's really complaining about the gay NPCs in the game because they already were there in the first game. People are mad about Henry. Henry is the focal point of the fucking conversation, at least for most people, right? At least for most people, Henry is the issues because Henry was not gay in the first game. And now all of a sudden they're giving him an option to suck a dick. So people are angry about it. And rightfully so. And again, I want those people to realize you have every right to be angry. I'm not going to tell you not to be angry. I might not agree with you if you say you're not going to play the game, but you have every right to be angry. You do what you want with your money. You're a fucking adult. I'm never going to tell you what to do. I'm never going to tell you what to do. Playing Veilguard was a meme, dude. True. True. But no, I wanted to review it. I wanted to give people were looking to see if it really was as bad as people were thinking. So just like I played Dustborn, unfortunately, and I got sick over that shit. And just like I played Veilguard and fucking got sick over that. Every single woke game got me sick. It's terrible. It really is. Insomniac says he just farted. Sir, you need to repent. Where's my clip? You need to repent, sir. You should repent. Anyway. Bread Sandwich says Hypno played Veilguard because he was memeing it, not reviewing it. Really? So when I gave the game compliments, that was me just memeing it? When I gave the game compliments for certain things in the game that were actually done right and properly, that was just memeing it? I suppose. Whatever makes you feel better. But anyway, so again, guys, this is one of those games that I think is going to be, there's going to be I actually like that the conversation is happening this way. I really do. I like the fact that the conversation is happening. People are talking, and people are really, really getting like, I think that the misconceptions about a lot of different people's ideals are starting to slowly erode away. Goonergate really started that whole erosion of misconceptions. And now like games like this are really going to help just define certain people's talking points, because it really is, in my opinion, this shit is really overblown. It really is. I get people why they're upset. I do, totally. And I'm not going to devalue you're being upset. And again, you're able to make your decisions and do what you got to do. Perfectly fine. If you don't want to play the game, maybe you can watch your favorite YouTuber or whatever and see if your preconceived notions were accurate, right? Because that's a good thing, right? You can watch YouTubers or you can watch whoever you trust. It don't got to be me. You can watch whoever you trust. And if you watch the game and you realize, okay, maybe my preconceived notions were not accurate, then maybe that'll make you want to buy the game, or maybe it's when it's on sale. Who really knows? But, or if you watch and you're like, okay, yep, my preconceived notions were accurate, I'm not buying this shit. Great. That's perfect. That is the beauty of transparency on YouTube. And that is something that the gaming industry does not do. And I cannot stand that. I cannot. Semper says, cut out this reasonable response, man. It's making me sick. I'm sorry. Somebody said maybe Hypno's bot. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Hypnotic people. Fuck, the chat's moving fast. Hypnotic people are tribal, left or right. They just want you to be their mouthpiece. Make sure you don't. I'm not going to do that. The only mouthpiece I could be is for me. That's basically it. I'm the only. I can only speak for myself, and I can give you guys the information. Okay, speaking of information, let's stop talking shit. Although, even though I love talking shit. So let's go to this. Shout out to Grums for this post. Here we go. Breaking leak. No, Kingdom Come Deliverance is not woke. I received exclusive information from someone who has completed the game, which clears up many rumors. Note, game director Daniel Vavra just posted clarification. He's 100% telling you straight. Great choice of words there, Grums. This is a great fucking choice of words to use at a time like this. Why would you say Daniel Vavra is telling people, why would you use the word straight? Damn it, Grums, you need to repent. That's the worst time. That's the worst time to use that word. Jeez. According to this player who wants to clear the air so the game can succeed, this is the exact content of the game's main storyline. Not all side quests completed. And here's the thread. Okay, so he sent the screenshot showing that he completed the game. All right. And I guess they don't show hours. Whatever. Anyway. All right, here we go. Yes, Henry can romance other characters in the game. Henry can romance another male. However, this is not forced upon the player in any way. Similar to how BioWare did romance checks, you must A, initiate the dialogue, and B, pass around 5 dialogue choice romance checks without missing one in order to unlock this romantic partner. You have to go out of your way to do this and do it over the course of half the game. Okay, so it's 100% not forced. Whatever. The dialogue options, hold on, let me click this. The dialogue options for the male romance are treated very secretive, very taboo, and in line with the historical times. Wait, so hold on. So is like Henry gonna be like sneaking around trying to get some dick? Is that what's gonna happen here? Is Henry gonna be like sneaking around Bohemia trying to get some secret dick or something? The romance scene is extremely brief and entirely skippable. 5 seconds of kissing total and 5 seconds of them on the bed naked. No one is hanging dong and they are just on top of each other kissing. The other cutscenes with Henry and women are much more vulgar. That sounds nasty. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that's why I get to play the character as a straight character. So wait, so 10 seconds of sneaky dick. 10 seconds of sneaky dick. Interesting. We need repenting after this. Nice. Unbelievable. So for fun, I asked if the women in the game were as well endowed as the first game. They reply, "Oh, the titties be wildin'. Lots of titties." Oh, so he spoke to Atreus. Is Atreus the secret? Only Atreus talks like that. Only Atreus talks like that, man. Who talks like that aside from Atreus and Kata? Who talks like that? Come on. He says that all cutscenes are skippable. Plus, story, side missions, romance scenes, all can be skipped. There are no other examples of LGBTQ in the game, minus the one character from the first game, but his sexuality isn't even mentioned. Main quest for sure. Not all side quests have been played yet. Many people talking about Istvan and Eric from the first game being gay. In this one, it's not even mentioned in main story. While it's confirmed in the first game that Istvan is gay in the first game, to my knowledge, they don't even reference it in this one. All right, so no mention of any sexuality, it seems like, in the main story. But cannot be confirmed for side stories, obviously. So it seems like it's they're treating it with a level of like taboo, which is, I mean, that's pretty accurate for its time. Oh, here we go. There is a black character in the game. He is a medic. Okay, so he's a traveling medic. He's not a merchant. I thought he was a medic. Okay. He's very well thought out from a writing perspective. He's under the command of an enemy commander, and while said commander is kind to him, everyone around him treats him like shit. He's a very likable character. It goes into pretty hardcore detail how he ended up there. The town are not multicultural and fit the historical times. The black character is for sure a fish out of water from cultural standpoint. Okay. All right, that's interesting. So if that's the case, if that's true, then that's not bad. If this guy's like a slave for whoever the fucking, commander is and whatnot of the invading army, I could kind of see that. So there's that. Which honestly, like I said, I thought he was a traveling merchant. That's what I thought. Based on how he looked with the gold and everything, I thought he was a traveling merchant. But him being a medic, that's whatever. Now about the gameplay, this player says it slaps, 10 out of 10. Combat is similar but easier than the first game. Lockpicking still sucks. Well, that sucks. Based on this information, I would say the whole Kingdom Come Deliverance thing has been blown out of proportion. The game is excellent. Everything is treated in proper historical context. As this player said, the whole game is funny as fuck. It feels like old school BioWare. For some, any gay option is going to be a no for them. But for me, gay does not equal DEI. I'll be buying this game day one. Fair enough. So, I mean, again, at this point, that's pretty much where I'm at with it. And again, I know there's people out there that are not going to agree, and I'm okay with that, man. You are able to do... peace out, Gal Palval. You're able to do whatever it is you got to do. Totally understand. And at this point, if you are on the fence, I would suggest you wait. I'm always a fan of waiting and seeing, by the way. If I wasn't a streamer, if I wasn't a reviewer, or I started genuinely trying to do reviews last year for the last few months. I really wanted to get into that and start doing reviews. So I took it serious. I started uploading my Steam reviews and linking them and everything like that. So from a reviewer standpoint, I could understand buying day one. But if you are not a reviewer, or if I wasn't a reviewer, fuck no, I would not buy these games day one. Absolutely not. There are very few games that I ever buy on day one. Very few. And I've already told you guys what those games are. But aside from that, I would never buy games day one. I just don't do it. Very rarely would I ever do it. I like to buy my games on sale. That's how I am. I really like to buy my games on sale. I do not want to pay full price for them. That's part of the reason why I'm a PC gamer, because the Steam sales are glorious. I do not, that's just not me. But there are certain games that people are asking for. And now that I'm taking reviews seriously, unfortunately, I do have to get them day one. It is what it is. But no, fuck that, bro. If I was not, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I very rarely bought games full price. There's a reason why I don't have a fucking Nintendo Switch. I've told you guys this story already many times on many different streams. I don't have a Nintendo Switch because those motherfuckers are greedy. They almost never put their games on sale unless it's a piece of shit. I can't. Hypno's Jewish? Yeah, when it comes to my money, I am. When it comes to my money, I definitely am, for sure. But, bro, like Nintendo, oh my God, bro. They do not. You're just cheap, admit it? Yes. Yes, I admit it. I admit it. What, you thought I wasn't going to admit that? No. I admit it. I am cheap. I am cheap. Fuck that. Fuck that shit, man. No Switch 2 for Hypno? Well, maybe. Only because I'm not gonna get another what is it called? PlayStation 6. I'm not gonna get a PlayStation 6 whenever that comes out, because at this point all their games are coming out on PC now. I have no reason to get a PlayStation anymore. So I'll probably switch over those funds to a Nintendo and buy like one game a year, because those motherfuckers are greedy, bro. Those motherfuckers are greedy, bro. No, to be honest, I'm mainly a PC gamer. You guys know that. 99.9% PC gamer. Always have been, always will be. And this is why, like, I got used to buying games on Steam for like $5. Buying games on Steam for like $5, $10. I got used to that. So why the fuck would I want to go out there and spend $70 on a brand new game when I got 200 games in my backlog? Like, why would I do that, bro? I bought Mega Man for like $10. 3 different Mega Mans, bro. I can't. Anyway, if you thought I wasn't going to admit to being cheap, I am cheap. All right, I am cheap, 100%. When it comes to video games, I am cheap. There's no doubt about it. So, anyway, for those of you curious, I'm going to be reviewing this game on Hypnotic Live. If you are not subscribed to Hypnotic Live, I highly suggest you go subscribe. Hypnotic Live is my secondary channel where I post my clips from my streams, and I also do gaming streams there because I have to separate my algorithm from this channel. So if you want to see the gameplay and you trust me enough to see it, then go check it out. But if you don't trust me enough, go watch whoever the person is you trust the most and see if you like the game. And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to, and we just move on from there.